All right, we have Grant Beer here. He's going to talk to us about chains, where they're located, when to apply them, how to apply them.
Okay. The chains in the Eurovan should all be under this seat right in here. And the chains for the boxes should be right in these cupboards.
Okay.
There's no chains there.
Okay.
These are probably going to go on this other side, Dave.
Okay.
To put the chains on, you're going to need a block of wood like this. It's got a step in it so that it gives you a little height. You need some of these tighteners, which I may call rubber dubbers, just because that's what I was always told they were. And then you have 4 different types of chains. These are what they call a wire chain, both of these. And these 2 are chains. The only difference is this one is probably a little better because it has a chisel bite to it. That goes towards the surface of the road. These don't have that, so it doesn't matter which side touches the road. Those have these little things that spin and tend to grab into the ice. Chains are like shoes. There's not a right and a left, but there is an inside and outside. As you see the ends, this side hooks the chain together. This side, it just hooks together. I'll show you. So we're gonna hook this into this like that to make a circle. That'll be on the inside. And then this other wire here will be fed in like this and brought back to link it to itself. And this is where you take up the slack.
And that's on the outside?
That's on the outside. This one is very similar in that the one side just hooks to itself, just like that. That's the inside and happens to be red. And this is the side where you make your adjustments, how tight you can get it. It just goes in like that, whichever link it's tight. And you'll see that when we put it on the tire. This one, they happen to be exactly the same. They're generally not. Generally one side is simpler than the other and you don't have adjustments. Okay. So if somebody wants to get into the rig, what we're going to do is we can put this block either in the front or the rear. We're going to put it in the front since that's the distance we have to go. We're going to put it in front of the inside dually. And so when the rig pulls forward, it gets this wheel off the ground because it's up about that far, 2 blocks.
How far do you want them to go forward?
Just until it comes up off the ground.
Until it comes up off the ground?
2 feet. That's good. You can see put it in park, there's a gap under here. So we take this chain, which we lay out first to see which is the inside and which is the outside. This one is going to be the inside. And we want these chisels next to the surface of the road, so it's going to have to go this way. You just slip it over like that. And if you want to get real fancy, you can, well, as it ends up, I put it on wrong.
Right at that.
Yeah. I got the chisels on, touching the tire. Now the chisels are on the outside. And what I'm doing now is just trying to make it even because I'm going to reach this part of the chain through and reach my arm through and hook this hook into it. And you hook it as close as you can. I've got 2 links left over. Then you take this and put it as close as you can again. So that's fairly tight. Push that down and that locks into there. And you take this snubber and just pick anywhere. Hook there. Hook there. Hook there. And these are just to take the tension out of the tire chain. Well,
We'll edit that one out too.
that one broke. These may have been on the shelf for a while and they're old, because you should be able to hook these on and they not break. This one came out of the same package, so it may just be just as rotten. There. And that's how that goes. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna drive off and do that to the other side. And then I would drive about 20 feet, and then you may be able to hook another part in this. You can pull on these, but that should be pulling like this, so any slack, it will keep them tight. And that's how you put the chain on. Take them off, just reversal. Take this off, undo this, and then you have to undo the other side because you don't want it to wrap around the axle. And then you just drive off and it's left on the snow.
What's the
Anything
max
else?
speed, Grant? It's like 35 miles an hour? Ish?
Ish. Yeah. And then if you hear them beating the heck out of the side, it's because you did like I did and left this here. Really what we should have done, and we can still do it, you either take one of these here and secure it so that it's not flopping around, but the best way to do it would be to secure it in this. Just put it here like that, and then that's not going to be beating the side of your ambulance up. Also, in running on these, if you run on them for very long, one of these may break, and so you've got a chain about this long slamming in there. So you need to stop and see what's going on. Or maybe one's come unhooked. The bad thing about these, if they come unhooked or they're broken, they can wrap around the axle and tear out your brake lines. So they're not made for high speed. They're made to get you through the snow in a short distance.
Yeah. I've used them before, yeah. I feel like it's like 35 and you're maxed out.
And they're kind of making a noise like that. That's normal.
So I always think of chains as a way to get out of something rather than to get into something. Like if you're heading somewhere, you don't want to think, oh, I can chain up and maybe to help you in a situation where you don't take extra chances just because you have chains on.
Yeah.
Any other advice for things that people?
The other thing you might do is you might take a blanket or something else to kneel down on so you don't get covered in dirt and snow. You're going to get dirty. But that's it.
Anything else for the cruise? You guys are going to pass along?
On the Eurovan, you don't have dualies, so you don't have a tire to run up where you've got free air underneath one tire, but you still put it up on the block. You can still fasten it the best you can, then drive off of it and then tighten it, and then you may have to tighten it several times because it's you don't have the this goes on really nice. This is fairly tight because it's up in the air and you've got free access. So,
Questions?
What do you do if you can't get it off the ground? You can't get the tire off the ground?
that's what the block of wood is for.
Well, it
But
was
if you
stuck
but
somewhere.
if you couldn't, if you were actually stuck,
Yeah.
I would put it on the other wheel. Maybe that wheel will pull you out. But if you end up having to do this wheel, you would do it the same as the single over there. You'd put it on the best you could. It's going to be a lot sloppier. You're going to move, and now you'll be able to pull on it a little bit and keep moving. Move forward, pull on it, tighten it. Move forward, pull on it, tighten it.
So all the ambulances, when we check it in, should have a set of chains,
2 chains,
2 chains,
2 of these that aren't broken.
should have blocks of wood. Is that
They
accurate?
all the ambulances have 2 blocks of
Should have
wood,
2 blocks
but
of
you
wood.
only need 1.
Yep.
And you could do both of them at the same time. I like just doing one and going around and do the other one. But there's no reason you couldn't do both at the same time. You'd be faster if you had an emergency and you had to do it. If you put both blocks down, one person could be working on each side.
Anything else winter ambulance check-ins that people should be doing now, paying attention to?
There should be a shovel also in our ambulances, but they get taken out. The
Okay.
shovel is to help, get some gravel or dirt or move some of the high snow that's in your way. What else? Winter time, we put the bras on these bigger, the Chevrolets. The bras go in the front of the ambulance to help the snow not to plug the radiators so that you have heat.
And are they all on? Are they going to be on? Is there some way that the crews will do that, or are you going to do that?
The crews should be able to do that, and we don't run them all the time. We run them when it gets really cold.
Exactly. So where are those?
They are right by where the chains are in that side cupboard on the boxes, because the Eurovans don't have them. And if you had to in an emergency make one, you could make one out of a piece of cardboard and just wire it in the front. You see truckers doing that to their trucks. Yeah, I mean, if you were out there and it's 20 below and you got a wind chill of 60 below on top of that, you could put it in the front and keep your ambulance from freezing up. Just driving would do it also. I mean, it would keep it so that it's warm. It's not going to freeze up, but you'd have more heat inside. But when you put something to block that radiator, you should keep an eye on your temperature gauge too, because we couldn't run those bras on this in the summertime. You'd burn up a motor. That's why the temperature gauge is on there. Most people don't look at the temperature gauge very often, but you should look at it.
So what other parameters from which the crew should think about putting
When
on?
it gets over to where it says hot,
Sorry,
or there's a red
to
bar.
put the bra on, what should be
Oh,
the,
to put it on? I would guess if it's getting 0 and below, you might want to consider putting them on. You probably could go without putting them on even, but it just makes it nicer for you because you're going to have a little more heat because it causes the radiator not to cool off as much.
Fahrenheit?
And if you're on the freeway and you've got blowing snow, that's the main reason we have them on these, because the blowing snow will plug that radiator.
Fahrenheit? Celsius? 0.
0.
0 what? Fahrenheit?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.